Okay. Does the TeNaK give references regarding the afterlife, regarding Olam Haba? And if not, why?
It does. It's just very few. There are very few references to the world to come. There are very few references to the resurrection of the dead. There are very few references to the afterlife period. They're there, but they're very, very few. They're scant. So therefore, TeNaK makes it clear there is a place where the soul resides after death. There is a reward. There's for those who are faithful. Those who are wicked go to Gehenna, which I'm just going to translate as hell. And please, if you're thinking about writing me emails and saying Gehenna is not hell, please don't send them to me. I'm not interested in getting involved in that. But the point is, there is a reward and punishment at the end of the days. Without an afterlife, there could be no justice in the world. If Hitler blew his brains out in a bunker in Berlin at the end of World War II in 1945. Anne Frank was a teenager who died in a death camp. If there's no afterlife, that means just the lights went out for both of them, then there is no justice in the world, clearly. So, but the reason why there are very few references to the afterlife is because it has nothing to do with how we behave in this world. And now it could, because the Torah or the prophets of Israel could have spoken of the afterlife extensively, like you see in the Christian Bible, and threaten people that they're going to go to hell or going to go to heaven according to how they behave. The problem is, and this in fact is very prominent in Christian canonical literature. If you read the Christian Bible, it's all over the place. You can go to heaven if you believe in Jesus. You're going to go to hell if you don't believe in Jesus. But this, you will not find that kind of threat anywhere in the Jewish Bible. The reason it's not in the Jewish Bible is because it's unverifiable. There's no way of it's untestable. How do you know? Maybe you go to hell. Maybe you go to hell for believing in the Trinity, because it's idolatry. You can't test it. So God introduces himself. When God says, "I want you to know who I am," he never says about something you've never seen. He talks about things you have seen. I'm the God who took you out of Egypt. I'm the God who brought you on dry land through the sea. I'm the God who brought you through the wilderness. I brought you to the land of Israel. I brought you across the Jordan facing Jericho. I threw you out of the land of Israel. I just kept every promise that I've ever kept. You know, when God encountered Moses in the beginning of the book of Exodus, and God was convincing Moses to take on the mandate to lead the Jewish people out of the land, and Moses was a very reluctant leader because of his humility. Ultimately, as God was impressing upon Moses that he was the one who had the kind of character that God wanted as a leader of the children of Israel, Moses asked God, like, what do I tell him what your name is? Okay? And there's a problem with that, and that is a physical, limited human mind. We can't apprehend the infinite God. And so, in fact, in the Jewish Bible is replete with who God isn't. There's a lot of who I'm not. There's very little, virtually almost nothing about who I am. It's what I do in the Jewish Bible. In fact, that's what Hashem says to Moses. Look, when you go to Pharaoh, when you go to the children of Israel, tell them, Ehyeh she'ehyeh. Doesn't mean I am that I am. That's Christian Bible stuff. Ehyeh she'ehyeh means I will be who I will be, which means I will always keep my promise. So therefore, when God says this is who I am, it's not I'm going to send you to heaven, I'm not going to send you to hell. That will not get us anywhere. It will scare a lot of people. And I would imagine if the TeNaK made those threats, it would be very effective. But a true God doesn't make such claims, doesn't make such statements, because how do you verify that? And also, you can't falsify it, so it's nonsensical. That's why it's mentioned that there is a heaven, there's hell, there is a resurrection of the dead, there is a temporary Gehenna where a person's soul could be cleansed after death, so they can enter into Gan Eden. You know how many verses tell us that? 1 or 2? That's it. That's the whole thing. Resurrection, because we have to know that we do believe it, but we should never be frightened into being faithful based on something that is unfalsifiable. It's not testable, but history is testable, and that's why the TeNaK is not people look at the Jewish Bible like it's a history book. So why don't we have all this information in the Jewish scriptures? Why isn't there microbiology in the Jewish Bible? Because that's not what Torah is. Torah is to tell us how to live our lives today. It is an instruction manual how to guide your life. Well, if that's the case, why would there be threats about going to heaven and hell? What does that have to do with how you live your life? False religions do that because you can't test it. When you go to the bank and you get a loan, right? Banks want to loan money. They don't make a living if they don't loan money. But they're really not interested in what you promise them, I'll repay my debt. No, they want to see your credit report. They want to see if you've repaid and kept your promises in the past to loaning institutions. And based on that credit report, they'll determine if they can trust you that you'll repay your debt. God is saying, check my credit report. It's perfect. I've kept every promise that I've made. That's why heaven and hell are discussed very infrequently.
Very good.